acquiring coding skills in Python. And in this part of our course, we're going to learn about dictionary. Specifically, we're going to learn how to make a dictionary. We will be able to understand the value of dictionaries, and also we're going to identify its structure. Okay, so the first question that would come to mind would be, what is a dictionary? So actually, dictionary allows you to store key values. Let me write here. It allows you to store key values. And when I say key values, I mean the key and its value. So that and its value. All right, it's there. So they're actually in pairs. So you have the key and its value. The classic example of this kind of pair is a telephone directory. So this would be, let's set this one into a row convert. So for example, we have tel as our variable, and we're going to have a dictionary in it. So a dictionary is enclosed in this curly brace. So we have, so supposing John has a telephone number 123 1245, and also we have another person, and then we have another person. So we have in there are three persons, John, Jackie, and Jean, with their respective telephone numbers. So one thing that I would like to call your attention to is the use of numbers here as string. Why? It's because this is actually not to be performed in any mathematical calculations. So that's why the numbers there should be a string and not an integer. So let's have this one. Let's see. Okay. So we have in there a dictionary. Just like your list, we also can access the different values, the different entries in a dictionary. And how to do that? It's very simple. We have this, and we have this in a bracket, and we're going to just write John. Then let's have this. The value for John is 1245. You can see in there. Let's have one more. Let's have Jackie. So 3456, that's the corresponding telephone number for Jackie. Now, we only have here three persons, right? John, Jackie, and Jean. What about if we are going to add? So how do we do that in dictionary? So we do that simply by having this. Then, for example, the person would be Joe, and the corresponding value assigned telephone number for him is, let's have 90. Okay. And then we are going to have tel. So you have in there John, Jackie, Jean, then we have Joe here at the last. So actually, if you're going to ask me, does it really matter the order in dictionary? Actually, no. In dictionary, order doesn't matter. The reason for that is the sole purpose of having a dictionary is just to access values using keys. So order definitely has no importance in this case. So sometimes in a dictionary, not all the values may be correct, or not all values are the values that we want to be in that particular dictionary. So what we are going to do is this: we're going to delete a certain entry in the dictionary. So how do we do that? So that can be done just by using the del function or the delete function. And simply we just do this cell. And inside that would be the certain name that we will want to be deleted. So let's say we want to delete Jean. So let's have this. So now Jean is not anymore seen in our dictionary. Next is that how do we print all the directory values for a certain dictionary? In this case, we can actually use the for loop. And to do that, we can do this for item. Let's okay, just to make it more consistent, let's just use key. So for key in cell, we're going to print this. So for key in telephone, we are going to print the key and its corresponding value. So let's execute this one, but we forget something. It must be with the closing quotation mark. Okay, and here we go. Okay, it must not be, it must be till. Okay, so we have in here. So the key John and its value, the key Jackie and its value, and the key Joe and then its value. So is there any other way on how to print the directory values? Yes, in this case, of course, there is another value. Of course, there is another method on how to print these directory values. Apart from using the for loop, another way is to use the tuples. And with that, this is how we do it. So for kv, so the kv here is actually the two values that correspond to the enters in a tuple. So the tuple values here are the key and then the value dot items. And then we will just copy this one, copy, and then paste there. But of course, we're going to change something here. So instead of tel key, what we're going to do is just the v. Okay. And now let's execute this. So the result is the same as this one. So for example, we have a lot of names in our directory. How do we check if a certain name is present in that particular directory? So in this case, we're going to use the in operator. So for example, we are going to have show in tel, and this is going to, it must be this, show in tel. So this returns true because Joe can be found in here, right? So what if we're going to have Jean in tel? So the answer there is false. It's because we can never now find the word Jean in our directory. It's because we have deleted that. So it could be true, it could be false. And sometimes we would want to clear or wipe out everything in our directory because we want to start all over again. How do we do that? So we do that by just using the clear function. So for example, we have clear tel.clear, and then, okay, that means everything is now cleared. So let's see if it is already see. We can see a blank dictionary. So tuple, one more thing we're going to learn this time is tuple. Let me write here tuple, because tuple is actually very much connected to list and dictionary. So let's make it big. So for example, we have this, shall we say score equals to 9 and 8. So score is 9 and 8. So we have here an example of a tuple, just like having a pair of two different values. So how do we access a certain value in a tuple? So we can do that just by doing this one. It's actually the same with list and even with dictionary. So let's have one. What is this? This is 8 because this is found here, right? And of course, if we're going to have 0, definitely this will return 9. So how is list different from tuples? In the case of list, all values have similar meanings. That means they are homogeneous. So when it is a string, it must be everything is a string. While in the case of tuple, all the values have different meanings. So it means to say that it is heterogeneous. So when something is a string, others can be an integer. So posing, we have here the values in our coordinates, 9 for the x coordinate and 8 for the x or the y coordinate. So in a case of list, we can never combine both y and x coordinates to be in just one list. So it must be just x coordinate, then x coordinate values. If it's y coordinate, it must be just the values that can be found in the y coordinates. Another thing is that tuples are immutable and list is not. That means we can never change the value in tuples, but in the case of list, we can. Do you want to know more about this channel? Just click these cards.
We do have a lot of free data science courses for free, like Machine Learning Essentials, Deep Learning Mathematics, and a lot more. Here, you can always learn an upskill for free.